and the Integra that they sent me was the manual, and the Integra that I drove at an event was also a manual. So I feel like Acura's like trying to get all the journalists to only drive the manual and not the automatic. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over the all-new Acura Integra with the CVT, and we're really going to find out if this transmission is worth going for. Before getting this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Jody Wilkinson Acura here in downtown Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Integra. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And if you don't know, the Jody Wilkinson Acura does not charge any sort of markups over MSRP whatsoever. So if you want a great deal on a new Acura, they're going to be the dealer to go to. And then on a side note, if you can save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 1.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a CVT automatic. Fuel economy is 29 around town and then 36 on the highway, with power outputs being 200 horsepower and then 192 pound-feet of torque. Before we go over the front end, I do want to mention if you see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Starting with the hood, you guys can see really distinctive lines, and I love the red paint on this particular car. It looks really good. And then coming down below, notice that the grille is all blacked out, and then also down below, we've got that giant Acura logo in the center. We do have parking sensors on the front end, and then you can see the daytime running lights with the LED headlamps. And then notice you got the the Integra logo rather down below that headlight. And putting it all together, I really do like the front end of the new Integra. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 235/40/18 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see here for the wheels, you've got this really cool metallic gray with the Acura logo there in the center. Notice we've got the A-Spec badge here on the side, and then the mirrors and the door handles are body painted. And then here is your full side view with the Integra. You guys can see those metallic gray wheels really pop out in contrast to the red paint on this. So here's our key fob for the Integra. You guys can see Acura logo there on the back. We've got this to remote start actually, and then you got the lock function, the unlock function, and the opening here for the hatch. It just unlocks it. And then all you have to do is just press this button right here, and then it'll pop right open. Now this is one of the big benefits of the Integras. It's very practical when it comes to storage space. And then you can see this for the ELS sound system, which by the way, really good sound system. I love how it says A-Spec right here, and then I can actually pick up this little floor covering, and then there's a loop underneath that you pick up, and then you got more storage space underneath with the Fix-A-Flat kit. And then when you're all done, you got that handle right there. You can just plop it back down. So we've got another A-Spec badge here, and then notice the blacked out spoiler here at the top with the Acura logo down below. And then I love the taillights here on the Integra, super sharp with the design. Parking sensors down below that, and then you can see how aggressive the exhaust tips are. And then notice the diffuser's all blacked out. And then when you put it all together, I really love the aesthetic here of the new Integra. I think it looks good from pretty much every single angle. Popping inside, we have this really cool two-tone interior. You guys can see the white, and then notice the contrasted stitching. And then notice where you actually touch on the window control. Definitely has some nice materials there. And then look at that door handle. That's fancy. And then here are the seats. You guys can see here, material use, really nice with the leather. And then again, that coloration. Now the front seat is pushed back pretty far. If you want a more accurate representation of legroom, that is a little bit better. Notice the storage pocket right there, and then I got some USBs. And then headroom back here is decent. I am touching the top though. And then we've got this cup holder armrest. Notice the keyless entry. And then here's the front door panel. So again, you can see that two-tone design continues here. And then I love this metallic trim. Look at the handle as well. Got our memory seat function here. All of our window controls. Notice the front two are automatic. And you have your mirror adjustments. And then again, another speaker for the ELS sound system. And then the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. Now this is where things get real fancy. I love the front seats. And notice the inserts here in the center, and then you can see down below as well. And again, that two-tone design continues, and then the front seat is fully power adjustable. And they got another A-Spec badge. Here are the pedals down below, and then you guys can see here for the stability control and then one of the vents. So here is the steering wheel, really nice leather trim all around. And you can see the contrasted stitching. We've got another A-Spec badge right there. This does have adaptive cruise control as well as lane keep assist. We've got our voice command and volume controls on top of that. Really nice paddles here on the back of the steering wheel. Turn signal light stock, and then we have our windshield wiper stock. Full digital gauge cluster here, and you can scroll through a bunch of different bits of info there on the one side, which is pretty fun. And then you can see like the fuel economy on their side, and again, you can also scroll through different bits of info. Pretty standard stuff. What's not so standard is the drive modes. So we've got a sport mode, but I just love like the animation that does and the sound when you change it. Very video gamey, but pretty cool. And then you got like a comfort mode as well. And then you guys can see how it like won't let me go down past it. I think that is also kind of interesting. And if the center animation wasn't cool enough for you, then we have another one here with the different drive modes. And there is also an individual mode, which gives you that. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and then you have a couple other ways to like see through the camera, basically with the viewpoints. Now as for the rest of the infotainment system, first off, we have some shortcut bars here on the side. As for the functionality of the screen, it's actually really easy to use. Response time is great, and I'm glad that we have an actual like volume control here, like a physical one, and then also to change the channels down below that. Now I've got our fancy vent here in the center, and I love the little controls right here. And I do have heated seats here for the front dual zone climate as well. Got our charging area here with some USBs, 12 volt, and then a wireless phone charging pad. Now here's our shifter for that CVT automatic. It does have an S mode, which is kind of like another sort of sport mode. We'll talk about that more when we drive, but basically you can have it in sport mode and S mode, which is like mega sporty mode, I suppose. Drive mode, select right here, your auto stop start, parking brake, and then brake hold. And then notice how we've got all this blacked out trim here, a couple of cup holders, and then look at the center console. Storage space is solid. Definitely like the padding there on top. This trim that goes across the dash, that looks really nice. Then again, you can see another one of the vents. And then we have a glove box. So up top here, got controls for the sunroof, and well, there's the sunroof itself, and then sunglass holder. So here's our window sticker for this Integra, and this is called Performance Red, if you guys are wondering. Now, almost everything we went over is standard equipment, so you can see the base MSRP right there. The red paint, though, that is an option. After that, in destination, $37,395 is the total MSRP. Let's see how the CVT performs. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, and you can see the heads-up display. Both the mirrors, which do have blind spot monitoring. And throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So, setting off in the automatic Integra. And you know what's crazy is it has taken me forever to actually be able to review the automatic Integra, because for some reason it was a lot easier to get a hold of a manual. Now, is that a conspiracy? I think perhaps, because here's the deal. Manufacturer, like I had an Integra for a week, and manufacturers will send out a car with a certain spec that they want you to obviously show on YouTube, and the Integra that they sent me was the manual, and the Integra that I drove at an event was also a manual. So I feel like Acura's like trying to get all the journalists to only drive the manual and not the automatic, which I don't know, I think that's kind of funny. But just like, well, the manual Integra, really good ride quality. Seat comfort's also amazing. Like, this is one of the most comfortable cars on the market, and I mean, especially for under $40,000, like it's really nice. And I definitely love what Acura's done with the interior. Now, yes, obviously this has a lot of carryover from its Honda sibling, the Civic, but still, it's a really nice interior. And you know, you obviously get a bunch of benefits with the Acura over the Civic. Nicer sound system. I'd say these seats not only look a little bit better, but they're more comfortable than the Civic seats, at least the seats in the SI or a standard Civic. And so this just has a lot going for it. Engine feels good so far, so I'm going to pop it into the S mode, which is kind of like your sport mode, and then we're going to pop it into the sport mode, so we're in sport mode, I suppose. But I'm not really noticing that this is like CVT-ish right now. Like, it actually doesn't feel bad, but I'm sure that we'll kind of feel something when we get our full-blown acceleration here in a second. So let's kind of see how this feels. Okay, so it definitely has that like very long, drawn out CVT feel with the transitions. Like with the regular torque converter automatic that has, you know, an 8 or 10 speed automatic. That was weird to say that, but anyways, 8 or 10 speed automatic transmission, you know, pretty quick with the gears and the ratios. This, it's really long. That's kind of something that is just a CVT thing. Okay, let's see. I mean, the transitions are very quick though. I will say that. I'm pretty impressed. The only other automaker that I feel like has a CVT that is somewhat similar to this in terms of response time, the downshifts, a little bit slower, but the upshifts are really shifts, right? A little bit quicker. But is Nissan with their Xtronic CVT is what they call it. That feels just as responsive as this pretty much. So it seems like the technology is definitely getting better with these CVTs. Honestly, this isn't as bad as I expected it to be. I thought that I was going to come into this review. I think that person crashed. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they did. Both of their wheels are... What the heck? Both of their wheels are pointed out, so their suspension... Their front end came apart. What the heck? Okay, anyways. So... I thought I was going to come to this review and just roast the heck out of this car. I thought it was going to be like, manual, that is the only way to go. The CVT is just complete garbage. But I'm actually pleasantly surprised with this. Now, I still prefer the manual because it has rev match downshift and it's a manual and it's more fun to drive with this car. But the CVT in this is not, like, it's actually good. Like, it's not bad. It's quick with the transitions, and like, if you really don't want to deal with a manual, especially if you deal with a lot of traffic, I actually think this makes quite a bit of sense. So basically with this new Integra with the CVT, this is a great like commuter sporty commuter car, basically. And they did a good job on the CVT. I will for sure give them that. That's gonna sum things up with our video on this automatic Integra. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Jody Wilkinson Acura for giving me some time with this Integra. Like I said, if you want a great deal on a new Acura, definitely reach out to them. I'll see ya.